Hey everyone, it's another edition of Interludes Extra Presents Talk on Tuesdays. I'm your host, Val the Voice Johnson, and it is the first Tuesday of May, and we're a couple of days away from Mother's Day. That's right, Mother's Day is literally this coming Sunday, and I'm excited for Mother's Day. Here's the thing: I'm going to be spending time with a good friend of mine, her mother, and in a couple of weeks, possibly my other aunts. So I'm excited for what's getting ready to happen. But of course, I can't believe it. We are in spring and we're approaching the summer. And when anytime it talks about the summertime, it's always about what are those movies that are coming out? There's a lot of remakes, a lot of reboots, and a lot of other things that are happening. And we're going to be covering it all here on Interlude Extra Presents Talk on Tuesdays. And we're getting ready to get going right about now. Presents Talk on Tuesdays, and I'm your host, Val the Voice Johnson. It's myself and Coach Tony. And man, oh man, we want to let you guys know about a book. It's no longer going to be an ebook. You can get the ebook now, and you've been able to get it for a minute, but now it is time to look at. I'm so excited. It's the big copy. That's right, a real book. And I'm in the process of getting this printed out. A DJ saved my life. Man, I'm so happy that this is happening. I don't know what to do. And so of course, we want to let you guys know you can go to purelighthouse.media.com, our brand new website, and or right here you can scan the QR code over here, and of course check it on out. I'm just so happy to have something physically in my hand, which is always a blast. And of course, any merch that you have, I think, the other merch that we have that's there is a carrying tote. I love this carrying tote. Wait, I gotta stop sharing real quick. I love this tote. It's a perfect place to put your book in. Just put it right on in here. There you go. And it goes right in the bag. I'm so happy that there's bag and swag to go with the book. So I just wanted to have that there. But of course, we also have our affiliate sponsor. Our affiliate sponsor is, well, we'll get to our affiliate sponsor in a second. I started a Patreon page probably a couple of years ago, and we got some folks that have joined. You can join Patreon for free and to support some of the materials that has been going on. Now, of course, I post on social media, but what I've been actively posting now has been articles and behind the scenes. I have something called Purple Robe Diaries. That's not online except for there on Patreon. So make sure that you go to patreon.com/interludes. And that is where you're able to get some, I want to call it exclusive content, how to start a podcast, and then all of the rest of that lovely, wonderful stuff. Oh my goodness. And of course, for the ebook and for the blogs, that's right. We've been writing, myself and Coach Tony. He'll give me the ideas and I'll bang it out into an article. I'm tapping into my journalism degree I got so many blah, blah, blah years ago. So that is patreon.com and of course /interludes. And here we are, KeySpot, our affiliate sponsor. Share, connect, and grow. And we now just got another affiliate sponsor that I'll be telling you guys about later on. and are actually next week, and we're bringing them on. So it's really exciting. But Key Spot, if you want to register your business and be found online, go to keyspot.com/free to learn how you can become a business partner and highlight your business online. That's what I'm talking about. Oh my gosh. And lastly, Coach Tony, I had begged him for years, go ahead and get your Instagram. Woo! He has an Instagram page. You go ahead and scan that QR code. If you have Instagram, you can follow him. It's at the Pull Up Podcast Show, and you'll see his picture there, Coach Tony. And we're so proud that he's got his social media going up, his IG. I've been asking him to do his IG for I don't know how long. I don't know why it took him so long, but it is okay. Oh my goodness. I really normally don't follow things like the Met Gala. However, there were a lot of people that were there that I love. And I saw some pictures come out of New York. The Met Gala happens, I believe, every year right around this time, sometime in May. A lot of fashion things that happen there. And I'm not one of those folks that's a fashionista, but I can appreciate some of my favorite stars being in their glory. The Met Gala, the theme this year is or was, because it was yesterday, super fine, tailoring Black style. And it was doing something that said the theme was tailoring to you. And it centers around cultural and historical examination of Black style and dandyism. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And they said it's an inspiration from Monica L. Miller's book, Slaves to Fashion. So one person that I found that she had her people do it. And in my mind, because I met her probably about 5 or 6 years ago, Debbie Allen is in my mind. She's somebody that's a friend of mine. I don't know about nobody else. Do you love Debbie Allen, Coach Tony? Because I know I love me some Debbie Allen. I don't know about you.
I love Felicia Rashad. I like her sister.
Oh my gosh.
I like them tall.
Oh my gosh. Well, I met Debbie Allen and her husband Norm Nixon at an event that they were being honored. And Norm Nixon is a true gentleman, but I need to show this. She put it on her social media. I'm just gonna pray I'm putting it up. Debbie Allen getting dressed for what? I want to call it the Met Gala, but I have to show this. Let me go ahead and share it. She put it on her social media on Facebook. I love Debbie. Here she is.
And Black don't crack.
Elegant, sassy, sexy.
Got a little Luther Vandross playing in the background. Oh my goodness.
Look at him. He is amazing. That's my man. Talk about Dorothy and the Ruby Slippers, darling. And Julie.
Oh man, her and Norm still kicking it?
Of course.
Oh yeah, that's dope.
Look at the hat. Look at that dress.
Come on, let's get in the car.
Oh my.
All right, 2 more we got. Let's go. Right here, Debbie.
He coming with the white hat. That's how I be coming with Sam,
What does this year's theme mean to you?
This theme means that Black people are relevant and we define the cultural identity of this country. And it is being celebrated on a very high level of elegance and grace. And it's also a good time for me and my husband to be together.
Tell us who you guys are wearing tonight.
Paul Tazwell.
And then People magazine took
At the
pictures.
Met Gala.
So they went ahead and
I'm gonna pull up on the show one night wearing one of my hats. Val, you can see, see how I'll be styling now.
But they have been married for 41 years. I'm checking that out. I did not
Hey,
know
let
it's
me tell
been
you something.
that while, but I mean, congratulations to Debbie Allen and Norm Nixon. She said on her Instagram and on her page that this was the very, very first time that she's been invited to come to the Met Gala. Because do you know how much a ticket is to go to the Met Gala?
Yeah, I'm still on 41 years. That's dope because Felicia should have been bless his soul, late great Ahmad Rashad, but I don't know what happened there. But I've always liked Felicia, but I love how she moved on in her life, stayed in the movie theater and doing her thing. I had a Instagram the other day with I think she was getting dressed and she was putting her makeup on and Felicia was helping out, and it was just great to also see what I love, Val, to see two sisters at that age, it was not warring with each other. You know how Black people do. We do a whole different thing. Not that the other side don't do it too, but we really get extraordinary, and especially when we're in the stardom together. And it's good to see that those two sisters have loved each other. Debbie produced Different Strokes. I mean, Different World. Felicia starred in it, and they just been tit for tat ever since. What's up, Bella, baby?
I know Bella is in the house and she says, "Hello, Coach. What's up, Coach?" And of course, Mr. Lee, Mark Lee is in the building. He says hello to the amazing Val and Coach Tony. We appreciate that.
I got toast for you right here, Bella.
And one of the things about the Met Gala, according to CBS News, the Met Gala, they raised a record of $31 million. That's pretty huge. They usually have it at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. And a ticket cost, I want you to guess, Coach. I need you to guess, how much is a ticket?
When Black folks start giving you details like that, I'm gonna say the minimum ticket value probably $2,500.
$2,500. Okay. Anyone in the chat, can you guess how much is a Met Gala ticket? Now this
hold
is
on, Val. Hold on. You got to put stipulations on that. I want to know the minimum ticket. I ain't talking about the max. I'm talking about if I got in and sit way up in the balcony in the back and my right against this wall right here, what's the minimum ticket as opposed to in the middle? And then if you're gonna do it like that, I'm gonna say Met Gala. No, let me ask you a question. What was it at again? What location?
This is in New York, and it was at the Metropolitan Museum of Art. That's where they usually have it.
Okay, so at the Met Gala, so I'm gonna give you three prices. If I'm upstairs in the balcony, I'm gonna say $2,500. If I'm in the mezzanine seat, so I got a pretty decent view, I'm gonna go about $5,000. And if I'm down on the stage area, I'm gonna go double that to 10.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Well, what happens is that they charge individual tickets according to CBS News New York. It says it costs $75,000 and tables for multiple guests started at $350,000.
Hey, how did Shaggy and Scooby Doo back then? hey, I would have watched that Met Gala on TV. You know what I'm saying? When it came, but these are people that 300 stacks is like, man, you going to a Christmas shop and spend 500.
And because you're here, because I wanted to make sure that I'm doing this according to CBS News, and I'm looking to see. I thought I saw Shaquan Barkley. He's with the Philadelphia Eagles. He's a running back, and he was there at the Met Gala. Cardi B and Halle Berry were photographed together. They were at the Met Gala, and just everyone. But
I can see that.
You can see that. But the one person that I'd love to, and I see some folks. Bella says 75,000. She's probably
hey, Bella. Hey, Bella, don't even worry about it, because when you and I go to that business, then I'm gonna let you spend 7,500. So you're gonna think you got a discount.
Oh my goodness. Well, I went over to Essence magazine and I saw The Boss. The Boss was at the Met Gala. Now, when I say The Boss was at the Met Gala, that means Diana Ross was at the
Time out. Penalty on the play, 15 yards, Foul on Valerie. We can't call the boss Diana Ross because when you say the boss, I'm thinking Bruce Springsteen. I'm just saying. I know this. I'm just saying. I'm thinking the Bruce. So you gotta call her like you gotta give Diana a different name or something like that. The Diva Soul Queen or something like that. I don't know.
You know what? I see that Mark said in the chat, he says, so there should be an Interludes Pod TV table. I guess that would be so cool if that could happen.
Hey,
oh
man,
my
come on,
goodness.
let's make it happen, man. Quit talking about it. Let's be about it. Come on, man. Dig up this show. Me and Valerie get the flights. Trust me, she fly to the South, I fly to Nashville. Where you want us to be? We there next week.
So Diana Ross, who is in her 80s and was recently performing on, I think, in Las Vegas. She's in her 80s. That's 80.
Oh man, I'm still trying to date her.
Oh my gosh.
Like, I know that's your grandma. Hey man, move out the way, man. Move out the way. Come down, girl. I want you to sing some of that Swedish takeover. Sweet takeover. I want some of that in my ear.
So this was her dress when she was walking up the stairs. I mean, just long trail.
Yes.
I'm like, wow. So
I see why Barry Gordy was trying to hang out with her.
Oh my goodness. But congratulations to all the folks that attended. And like I said, according to CBS News New York, they said that they raised $31 million. And a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people came through and did their thing. And newer folks, ASAP Rocky, Savannah James, she's a singer. Pamela Anderson, still doing kind of not a lot of making.
What was that series she was on? Baywatch.
Yeah, Baywatch. Yeah, not looking really, just looking very plain because of the recent movie that she did. So I was like, go Pamela Anderson. And then of course, just a lot of other folks. Bad Bunny, he's known in hip hop.
Yeah, Bad Bunny hot right now. He Bad Bunny.
Mm-hmm. And Zendaya, she had a beautiful white outfit on, and I think she came on the blue carpet because that's what they call it on the Met Gala. They walk on the blue carpet. Like I said, fashion is not my lane. That is not my lane. But I thought it was funny, and I wanted to show Debbie Allen's situation because it was so much fun. And
that's my lane, Val. I got one question, like Marty Mark used to say, Val, how can we get to the yams?
I don't know what the yams are.
Hey,
I have no clue what the yams are.
We got to put the podcast in the mix this year. My thing is, we're going to start bum rushing shows. Like back in the day, remember how MTV did it and make sure they get the logo, they just bum rush the stage. Hey, MTV, All of a sudden, that's what we were doing. Yeah, what Mark said? Mark said, are you having a Jordan Hudson moment, Coach? For sure.
Oh my goodness.
All I'm saying, Diana Ross, I'm young, girl. You better come on. I'm still hitting the fences.
Oh my goodness. So anyway, there was many people that were at the Met Gala. They raised $31 million. A ticket normally goes for $75,000 and a table goes for $350,000. So
I'm just glad to see us, Val, because we don't get a chance to do a lot for us, Black folk. You know what I'm saying? So to see, I'm so glad you had those stats because, I get tired when they have the Grammys or the Oscars or whatever. You see PWIs all over the place. It's great to see the brothers and sisters doing some things. Let us know we papered up too. We doing big things.
And like I said, it's a real treasure and a treat to see everyone kind of, get dressed up and do this. And of course, they raise money for, I want to say charity, but definitely $31 million. The Met, it's a beautiful museum. If you've never been there, I've been to the Met, but this event is the event that happens every year in New York. And so I just thought I'd mention that before we get into some of the other things we got going on tonight. But oh man, I watched the season finale.
Hold on. Did you see what Mark just said?
What did Mark just say?
That's phenomenal, Mark, if that's true. The Met Gala ticket in 2022 was $35K. So
Okay.
3 years of inflation, it's doubled.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, which is interesting. And I don't understand it. And Bella, she put the number in, but it's supposed
All
to
I can
raise
say,
money
Val,
for charity.
you know
Huh?
what effect that is?
What?
That's the 47th effect. That's a
Oh
tariff.
my goodness.
We putting the tariff. Hey, we putting the tariff on the Met. You want to go to the Met, you gotta pay 125%.
I'm not trying to do a 125% thing on that, but oh my goodness. Oh, you know what? Shows that were canceled. We talked about this a little bit, Coach, last week. Shows that are cancellations for 2025, and I got a laundry list of things that were canceled after so many seasons, and then there were a couple of shows that were renewed. But the one that hurt me the most that recently we didn't know it was canceled last week. We talked about. Yes. But then we found out that Queen Latifah's show, oh my goodness, the Equalizer was gone, went ahead and got chopped. And I was like,
Oh,
and
I
not
like
Queen
Equalize. I think she
show.
does a good job of that.
Yes, I really liked it. I really liked her show. And according to, I believe, what is this, Rotten Tomatoes? The ratings, part of the ratings in IndieWire.com, the ratings for the show went down from 7.6 million to under 6 million per episode. But you know what was happening
And
with the Equalizer?
that means you cancel me?
I don't understand. But here's the thing: the Equalizer, along with I think one other show, CBS is also one of the networks that shows sporting events, like either the NFL or a
Soccer's
few
on
other.
right now.
Soccer is on right now. So what happens is the game gets played, and because the advertiser says I'm attached to the Equalizer, I'm attached to other shows that's on CBS, I want my show to come on. And what'll happen is, instead of the Equalizer coming on at the time that it's normally scheduled, 9 Central, 10 Eastern, it comes on at 11 or later, because the game they got however long the game is. The game has to be
You talking about the NBA game?
either the NBA game or the NCAA games, or either the NFL
Val,
and all those
that,
games.
to me, that has nothing. That's just me personally. That has nothing to do with the show, because we know that the NCAA tournaments are once a year, and for 15 days, I might give a damn about the Equalizer. We know that the NBA tournaments is right after the NCAA, and nobody give a damn about the Equalizer, right? At least not men, because they're watching the game, period. And then the women who are sports/basketball oriented, they're doing the same. And the WNBA is kicking off. So you get a chance that you drop $1.5 million from 7.6 to 6.1 or whatever. I don't think $1.5 million is enough to cancel my show. Now, that'd be different if you told me that I've got the last 90 days and I'm staggering around 2 to 2.5 to 3 million people. Yeah, then I can see that, because I've lost over half of my audience. That makes sense.
Right, exactly. And I'm going to get in a little bit, because according to, and there's a couple of research that I did, the Equalizer was canceled after 5 seasons, and they said it was due to declining ratings and financial considerations. I'm assuming it cost a lot to produce the show, because the show is produced in New York. They said CBS was looking out, and it was looking to cut the show's budget. And the negotiations with Queen Latifah and the show's star and executive producer was reportedly in progress. And they had a planned spinoff that was supposed to happen. And I'm just going, well, then why didn't the spinoff happen? Well, so it was a show that was in limbo. And let me bring this up. This is a Hollywood Reporter. And like I said, I was really looking, I was checking this out. Now, here's the thing. The Equalizer is a show that is based on a show that was done in the 80s. Do you remember the original Equalizer from 85 to 89?
Oh,
You remember
I
that show?
remember that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I was, I was happy, number one, to see that they had a woman in the role. But
Well,
then,
it's two shows they brought back. Equalizer was one, and Magnum PI was the other.
right, exactly. And then that one got canceled, I think, after 2
Yep.
seasons.
Well,
Yeah.
they started
So
putting it on at 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't think they counted. They put it on at midnight, 1 o'clock, Val, and had you up at that time.
so here it comes, and here are the numbers in black and white. They said that, and this is according to Hollywood, the HollywoodReporter.com, the decision comes just 2 days before the show's 5th season finale, and the season finale just happened on Sunday, this past Sunday, and they said it averages a little under 6 million viewers, but they said last year it was closer to 8 million. And they said that also FBI International, Papa's House, and we talked about that last week, and then FBI Most Wanted. These were the shows that also got canceled because I guess it costs a lot of money per episode to produce dramas.
So, in other words, ABC lost a lot of money.
Okay.
If you look at it like that, because if you go down the line and look at all the shows that they had, they lost a lot of money.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, and here's it, and this was funny that Mark put this in here. Here's it. This is Mark. He says, "I love the original and Queen Latifah." And they were supposed to do a spinoff with Titus Welliver and Wani Feliz, but then they opted not to go ahead with it. This was an episode that happened in April, and
they're supposed to be doing the second thing of Set It Off. Did you know that?
I had no clue. But ultimately, and this is something that we're going to be talking about and continue to talk about. There are a lot of new movies, a lot of shows that are nostalgic, and I think it's for 2 reasons. But why do you think Hollywood is just stuck on doing either a remake or a reboot of things that have happened before in the past? What's your thoughts on that, Coach?
I give you an easy answer. It's like a kid wearing a pair of Jordan sneakers. It's easy, right? Because I can pull up and wear a pair of LeBrons. Maybe you know or maybe you not know. I can wear a pair of Kobe's and you probably like, okay, those are Kobe's. But if I put on a pair of Jordans, you automatically know, oh, they're jumping. Those are Jordans. And I think it becomes easy for them. And if they can get a syndicated show that the masses already know about, it's easy to rerun or extend that. But when you try to come with a new show like Papa's House, but you got an old character, right? We know Damon, right?
Yeah.
But he was kind of introducing his son, so to speak. But the way the concept and the way the storyline came together, they didn't meet. The concept was over here, the storyline was over there, and somebody failed in the middle. We get that. And I think you see that with a lot of older shows. I thought that Queen Latifah had done more than enough to solidify herself with Equalizer. No different than LL Cool J has done on NCIS. He's been all over the place, him and Shamar Moore. But they've done a great job of going from show to show to show, police jobs, police movies, police sitcoms and series, and they've all done well.
Yeah, and I have to say, with Queen Latifah's show, and I like that also. I think Mark just mentioned that there was also Hawaii 5-0. They also remade that as well.
I forgot about Hawaii 5-0.
And you mentioned Magnum PI. Mark remembers that, and they remade that as well. But it was, like I said, it was the original series was done in 85 to 89. And then it was remade as a movie with Denzel Washington. And then this was the first film that Denzel Washington did a sequel to. So there was like 2 sequels to The Equalizer. I think there's 3 out. And so they launched this show on CBS in 2021. And so I'm so sad that this has now come to an end. Of course, I was just thinking, Living Single lives on.
So
Yeah, so that's it.
But before I give you my answer, let me ask you a question. I got a great question for you. So
What
you
you got?
just mentioned Denzel, all 3 Equalizer, okay? And then you bring in Queen Latifah. So what's the hard part of connecting those 2, and what's the difference?
Well, the original Equalizer was English. He was a white man. He was English. The obvious is, to me, would be race. You have a black man playing the Equalizer, same concept, but now you have it reimagined as a black woman. And I think for Latifah's character, Robin McCall, was kind of slated in her 40s. But Latifah's around our age, so it just is. It was just good to see her in this. And like I said, it costs money to produce dramas. It's more money to produce dramas than it is, I want to say, sitcoms. And reality shows are really not that expensive because you don't have to worry about SAG and AFTRA. But I was getting ready to say, I think the entertainment industry has taken such a hard hit from the pandemic because no one was working, no one was going and acting. There was very few things that were happening. And then in 2023, with the writer's strike, and then back to back with the actors, SAG-AFTRA writer strike, their strike as well. So there were a lot of things that were just put on hold, and then it came back and reimagined. So I feel like our entertainment industry has taken a hit, and they're like, well, we need something that's going to be a guarantee that people are we need butts in the seat with the movie theaters, and we need people with all of these active streams. We want you to stream our stuff. We want you to watch. And television is being reimagined. It's not the same. It's not.
Oh yeah, it's totally.
The same as it was 10 years ago, even 5 years ago.
Exactly. And I'm gonna go from the other side. I'm gonna look at the stretch. So I'm gonna break it down like this. 2 parts. On the left hand, you got an actor like Queen Latifah, right? Obviously, we know the young people don't know who the hell Queen Latifah is. All they know, well, not the young folks, the really young folks, but some people do. But the majority, I'm gonna take a 70-30, right? A 30-70, right? And we older people know that because we know Queen Latifah, who she is, a beast on the microphone, but yet until she came back and dropped Set It Off. So when you get Queen Latifah to hit the movie screens, you're expecting a Set It Off type of role as she comes in. Part 2, you give it the same name of the movie Denzel Washington just killed. Because the Equalizer, he done, man, they look, straight Jason Tatum type stuff, right? Taking people out, stabbing them in the neck with an ink pen, straight up just eliminating the whole room with one look. And you get that with Denzel. And then you give me Queen Latifah from Set It Off, and basically she's like a smart police officer or an undercover CIA or FBI agent. And it doesn't resonate and hit the same because Denzel, even in the Equalizer, he was straight up, okay, I gotta save this young girl. I see what's going on. I see who's dealing with her. And I'm gonna do everything I can to save her life, even though, she didn't ask me to do it. And when you gotta make that on a weekly basis and you gotta make it out of a series, Val, it doesn't come off the same, in my personal opinion.
Yeah.
And I think that's why over the time, it didn't really last or hit like people expected it to hit.
Yeah. And like I said, there are a lot of other shows that ended up unfortunately getting canceled, especially after one season. But the goal usually with shows is that you at least make it 5 seasons. The big deal was so that you could make it into syndication. Well, syndication now doesn't really exist. It's around, but it's all about having something on a streaming platform. The Roku network, you have the Roku TV, you have all of the former cable stations that now have their own apps. So you have HBO Max, it's now Max. You now have what is this, MGM Plus? That's
they all of them are doing great.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Amazon Prime, and yeah, they're
Plus.
now united with MGM Studios, so they produce a lot of things out of that. And then of course Netflix, who totally annihilated Blockbuster back in the day, and now we everyone wants to be a version of Netflix, because there were a couple of things that were I think Disney Plus took a page from them and said, look, we're gonna produce our own things, and they yanked every Marvel series that started on Netflix off of the Netflix platform and put it on theirs, because it's like, this is our IP, and we want everyone streaming and coming to us if they want to see Luke Cage, if they want to see the Defenders, if they want to see Anakin, they want to see anything regarding Marvel, you come to Disney Plus if you don't see it in the theater. So it is
but
what
I think all of us got captured too much, Val. I think that you sit up and you look like you just said, and you got someone like a Queen Latifah doing this show. And I just think that the majority of the people that knew her roles, maybe expected a little something different.
Yeah.
Ice-T, LL Cool J, Shamar Moore, shit, they did a great job jumping their ass over from hip hop to whatever to the Police game. They got to explain themselves when they come back to the hood, but they got to tell everybody, hey, no, hold on, homie, this is TV. I'm still connected over here with this TV. But when you look at what Latifah did, I'm surprised, but I can say one thing. She gave it a good run, and the series gave it a great run. Unlike we talked about last week with Papa House, that whole show made no sense to me.
Yeah. And I'm like I said, I'm sad that it didn't make it, but I think it was, as we said last week, I believe it was about the writing. I think it was about the writing with Papa's House.
Why not fire the writer and keep the show?
Well,
why not create a diversion, the last episode, and somebody get hurt, and then you pour away 5 months, and then get a new writer and write them back in? Because I'm gonna tell you this: what is the best thing? And it's a trick question. I want you to listen to what I'm asking. And Mark, I see you listening to. What is the best thing on TV, period, for years, and no matter what, you love it? Trick question. What is the best thing on TV for years, and no matter what, you love it?
Sports.
Nope.
Okay. Is it a
Stop.
Is it a drama or a comedy?
Yeah, we talking about in the drama TV thing. No sports.
All right. That's too broad of a question. You'll have to tell me.
Soap opera. Soap opera.
Oh, okay. All right.
Soap opera.
Why do you say that?
Okay, tell me anything that you can find that's been running longer than Young and the Restless.
Well, if you bring up the soap operas, unfortunately, reality shows killed the soap operas. And I want to give a shout out to Mr. Springer. He's given us a shout out here on the Interludes Extra Presents Talk on Tuesdays. Appreciate that. And here's the thing. As of right now, there are only, I want to say, 1 to 5 soap operas that are currently on television. At one time, we had 10. A lot of them got
two soap operas. The brand new black soap opera. But again, the question on the table is, name me anything. I don't care. Movie series, TV series. Name me any of these things. NCIS, whatever. That's been running longer than Young and the Restless. That's nothing.
No,
So
Young and the Restless is now the longest running soap that's currently on, because when I looked when it started, 1973.
I thought it was 1974, but yeah, we're right
No.
together.
Yeah, it was 1973.
And
William Bell
you
created it.
can miss a whole damn season and turn it on, you still see Victor running every damn thing. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Well,
I'm serious.
well,
But
mhm.
that's it. But when you look at the only point I was making on that is when you go back and look at the things you're talking about, you look at Queen Latifah, Ice-T, Cool J, they're now making a retransition back into hip hop, back into what they did, because they did this for 20 years, 25 years, and made it long.
Right.
I didn't realize till I listened to a podcast, you know, that Ice-T is the longest running actor, even on the outside of the sitcom, than any other actor to have a show on mainstream TV. Did you know that?
Yeah, well, that goes to the reason why SVU outlasted all of the
Right.
all the Dick Wolf shows, and I think they are currently in season 26. I
Hey,
cannot
Dick
believe
Wolf get paid,
Mark.
but
Mark.
you're right.
Yeah, so Mark said, "I love Law and Order, Criminal Minds." I think I
He's
don't know if that's
watching
still
Family
on.
Feud.
And Cold Case, and he mentioned, he said, "I was watching Family Feud, and no matter who the host was, it's still great." Well, that's because it was
I still watch. Mark, I can't go to sleep, Mark. I got to watch it every night. I ain't be here. Hey, I turn the ESP on, then I put a little Family Feud on. Got to watch the feud with Steve Harvey be tripping. I get you. But again,
Yes,
no
yes, and you
one
know
is
what?
going to beat out Young and the Restless and Victor Newman and Nikki and the crew. No one.
And let me just share this with you before we move on. We got to move on to the next our next situation. Is I literally just did a post, Tony, on I was watching Young and the Restless yesterday, just yesterday. Yesterday, unfortunately, was the 13th anniversary of my father's passing, and they honored and talked about Christophe St. John.
Oh,
And
yes.
right. And so I said, well, let me go ahead and talk about this, because I was so this kind of touched me
It
because
moved you, yeah.
it was talking about the fathers. And so the Lily Winters, that's the fictitious character.
Yep.
Sorry, her name is Christelle Khalil, and now they brought on another actor, Jermaine Rivers. He's new to the Young and the Restless. He's new to Genoa City, and
Yep.
so this scene that I saw, they put a picture of Christophe St. John in the background, and so, like I said, it was Christophe St. John has been around for. He's been acting since he was a kid, and unfortunately he passed away in 2019, and they had to find a way to write him off the series. And so what was good was that you were able to see them kind of talk about it, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. But you mentioned Young and the Restless, and I was like, I just did a whole post on it. And so I mean,
That's funny.
that's
That's
amazing to
hilarious.
me. What were you gonna
But
say to wrap that
I
up?
was only looking at that because of comparing the sitcoms and things that are out, you know, and Mark just mentioned, you know, the Magnum PIs and all the stuff like that. Those did a great job. But again, you know, I love the police. That's why I love what Dick Wolf has done with Chicago PD. I'm not even just from the city, but I just love what he's done with Chicago PD. And the storyline is ridiculous. And my folks at home are CPD, and they told me, both of them, Chicago PD, Val, is as real as it gets on the street from them. He told me that. So if you're watching
Wow.
and thinking this is a bunch of bullshit or whatever, no. He telling me
Uh-huh.
they come to your crib, Val. Do Chicago PD. Boom, we coming straight in. I mean, everything, they have got the episode for Chicago PD and Chicago Med is as realistic as day-to-day activities that our beloved Chicago Police Department and our beloved Chicago Fire Department go through.
Wow. Okay, cool. Well, I want to get into now the summer movies that are coming out, and I'm going
Yeah.
to mention I'm gonna mention a few, but I I can't believe a lot of the ones that we're gonna be mentioning are remakes. They're ones that have been around. We've seen them before and they're around again. But I wanted to make sure that I brought out the one that I'm looking forward to the most is kind of something that's been around since 1996.
Okay.
The movie has been around, or the franchise has been around since 1996. And so we're going to go ahead and roll into that. Let me see if I have it. I sure do.
Let it
is the
roll. Let
trailer
it roll.
it's a trailer for Mission Impossible. Let me go ahead and do this.
Boom, 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 boom.
This can't all be true.
Every word.
CIA Black Vault break-in.
Am I reading this correctly? The Kremlin bombing? In fairness, the bomb was actually meant to kill him.
He gassed a security briefing.
That was just 2 months ago.
This explains the handcuffs. It's still not clear why he's here. If we want to bring the world back from the brink, we have to deal with him. Should he choose to accept?
Smart people on every side are close to panicking.
What exactly is your plan?
Your team has been betrayed, Ethan.
All your secrets compromised. Everything you are, everything you've done has come to this. You gave him an aircraft carrier?
Our lives are the sum of our choices. This is your calling, your destiny. I have no regrets. Neither should you.
I need you to trust me. One last time.
Okay, so I'm in.
Hey,
I don't know about nobody else.
I love it. That's like Star Wars to me. Love it.
Oh my goodness.
Cruise is okay,
1996.
but is he the question for you? Is he the best James Bonds ever?
He's not James Bond. That's the wrong. You got the wrong person with that. Now that's the wrong situation.
No. I know James Bond 007. So I ain't got it wrong. I'm just asking you. Mission Impossible and 007, damn, they're the same folks. To me, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
One is British.
Tom
Now you know
Cruise?
people that are into films, they'd be insulted that you'd say that James Bond, who is British, and then we have this American over here being Ethan Hawke. No, you can't. It's British American.
Well, y'all can be mad as hell. All I'm trying to tell you is, if you got 007 in the left hand and Mission Impossible in the right hand, that they similar things they do. I'm asking you, who do you like that had the best quote unquote missions or the movies? Because we know, I don't care what you say, Val, you know, Mission Impossible is born out of 007, period. We know that.
I would disagree.
Okay.
And Mission Impossible was, let me finish. Mission Impossible was a 1960s sitcom or drama that was popularized, and then who is this? Tom Cruise got the rights with Paramount and started making Mission Impossible movies since 1996. Now,
Hey,
here's the
Sean,
thing. A lot
go
of
back
people
to
don't know.
007. Go back to 007. And I think it's Sean Connery is around the same time, if not right before.
No, no, no. The James Bond franchise is older than Mission Impossible, and James Bond was being released in theaters. This was before me and you showed up. This was in the
Oh yeah.
60s. This is not
Yep.
us. 1960s. So Mission Impossible was a television show. The Bond was James Bond that was in the theaters.
Correct.
And here's the thing is James Bond was always produced not necessarily here in America, but it was all overseas, and he was English. And so
Correct.
here's the thing, because I appreciate how much work Tom Cruise puts into all of these, and this is like this is the
Does his own
franchise.
stunts.
These
Yep.
are all the films that he's done over the last 20. Oh, good gracious, we might as well say 30 years. 1996. Next year is 2026. Over the last 30 years, a vast majority. He's still doing the vast majority of his own stunts, Coach. And
Yep.
so I get into it because sometimes it's somewhat attached to a girl. It's always about I was in love with somebody, or I was trying to be in love with somebody, or I had to protect this person. And then there's always a bad sister or a girl or woman that knows how to fight and knows how to help defend him or defend alongside of him. I've always loved that. Didn't necessarily see that with James. He was always just getting busy and leaving them. I think the later James Bond films started to have more of a let me help you and be bad alongside of you and beat people up, versus just being the concubine or the person you sleep with during this film, and then you keep it moving, which is anyway. I can go on and on about that.
I think though, just me,
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
me, to
Just
go
you,
back to what you just said, I
okay.
still think that Mission Impossible is a simple derivative of the 007 franchise. I think that the 007 franchise, Sean Connery, the original, came and did what he had to do and so forth and so on. And then we changed a couple characters throughout. I think that the Mission Impossible was set out in the late 60s, early 70s to combat that show, to give a similar look in a different manner. And then Tom Cruise tried to take it on to another thing, and then we still had some more 007 movies. I just simply think those two movies in that franchise series are tremendous in terms of competition amongst each other. But I still think that the Mission Impossible bit off of 007 to give you that adventurous look into espionage, so to speak.
Okay. And I'm now looking it up. Mission Impossible, the series, was in 1966, and it went 7 seasons. 7 seasons. And kind of true to the Peter Graves was kind of the lead situation with them. Greg Morris was a part of the original series. It went from 1966 to 1973.
And like Waldo said, Van Rings.
Yeah, Ving Rames. I'm saying his name wrong. Yeah, so that was in the series, in the movies with Tom Cruise. And but like I said, he's changed a little bit of the players. I think if you see in this particular shot, you see Ving in this shot here. But and then here's Mark. I like what Mark says. He says James Bond was almost started as a Cold War movie that was anti-Russia, if I understand the history correctly. Well, let's check that out about James Bond. I never really investigated.
And Mark, that may
started
make good sense. And that may make good sense. But at the same time, again, it gave the American people in the 60s, with everything going on, right, Val? We know 63 Democratic Convention was going on in Chicago, massacre, Chicago burnt, everything was happening, Martin Luther King's going to be assassinated, Kennedy's going to be assassinated. And I think the movies kind of gave people a sense of, let's get away from the madness and let's get away from the craziness and that, that 007 was it. I remember as a kid, I didn't hear a damn thing about Mission Impossible, but I did hear about 007. My old man had me watching 007 as a kid in Chicago all the time. And he
Well,
like, "Shut up."
well, let's think about this. 007 films were made, and they started making 007 films as early as 1962 with the release of Dr. No. And that
Okay.
one starred, I believe, Sean Connery.
Yeah, I said Sean Connery. That's what I said.
Right, Sean Connery. So I think it was, and it would come up with a film like every couple of years.
Yep.
Diamonds Are Forever, 1971, the year I showed up. Live and Let Die. I remember that soundtrack, one of the songs from, I believe, Paul McCartney that stood out to me.
007 was so cold that your two major rappers took the soundtrack to their major album. Because that's what Jay-Z's album blew up, became history. He did the Diamonds Are Forever. And he went back to Central Page to do that. I'm just saying.
Exactly.
I'm just saying.
So I'm just saying, I think ultimately, and that Mark remembered, Greg Morris is a brother. Yeah, he was a gentleman that was a part of the original Mission Impossible series that was from 1966 to 1973. But yeah, so James Bond, I mean, that's an interesting comparison, but one was strictly in films and one was strictly television. And that was back in the, in 1966, it was three networks.
Yeah.
Was it three? Yeah, it was three networks. It was only three networks at the time. So, and you didn't have cable. So it was either you watched it or you didn't.
You had the big satellite dishes out in the backyard, man. About this big. You better hope it's lighting on it. I got a trick question for you, Val.
Okay. I don't know if I'm ready for the trick question. Okay, and the last really quickly. Wait. The last James Bond film was No Time to Die. That was 2021.
Right, No Time to Die. And Mark, I'm glad you listened because I want to know too. Why is it that everybody came on Gilligan's Island and hung out with them and got off the island, but the original crew never did?
More fun to keep the original folks there. I don't know.
As you answered that, I got an opportunity a few years ago doing the basketball event. I was down in the Atlantis, and we're out of the boat thing coming in, and they talked about, you see that over there? I'm like, what's that? They said, that's where Gilligan Island was shot. Val, I'm telling you, it was maybe a half a mile swim to the shore. So they could have swam, a couple of sharks, but ain't nobody worried about no sharks, right? But, but my whole thing was, how did everybody come on the island and got off except, and then the other thing is, why was Ginger and the professor and his wife were the only ones on the whole island always had nice clothes? Where were they going? They like they were going nowhere.
Well, maybe that was in their luggage and they didn't know how to pack. That's probably what happened with that. I don't know. That's what they had in their luggage. That's all I got.
I just wanted to know that. I've been meaning to ask you that for a while.
Oh my goodness. What are some of the films that are coming out over this summer? The one that I'm looking forward to is what we just saw, which is Mission Impossible, the Final Reckoning. And then this is kind of the direct sequel to what was released in 2023. And
right, no play, that's gonna be dope.
I think
I think it's gonna be good. I mean, again, you mentioned earlier, Cruise is one of the very few actors that's still doing his own stunts, Val. I mean, how many people over 50 years old still jumping and rolling around?
And he is what is he knocking on? I think he's 60.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's over 60. So yeah, Ethan Hunt comes back. One last mission. So that gets released on Memorial Day weekend. So that's May 23rd for that. Also for the kiddies, they're doing Disney is doing a live action Lilo and Stitch film.
Oh wow.
Yeah, which I'm not. There were some weird things that were being shown with, I want to say, the original Lilo and Stitch. It was pointed out to me that there was some weird things, weird images, and some of the digital stills of the film. And I was like, well, this is a live action one, but I wasn't a fan of the original. I'm not the audience, so I can't, there's no big deal, but that's one of the ones that's getting released. And then, of course, there was the film over the weekend that got released, Thunderbolts. We talked about Captain America, and that Thunderbolts was kind of previewed in Captain America that came out in February. And so I think the film did number one, did 77 million over the weekend. But guess what was right on its trail, right behind it? Third week around, Sinners.
Oh man, my daughter just asked me about that tonight. I said I need to ask Val about it and get back to it. But real quick before we move off this point, Mark, that was a funny response, and you're right. Mark said for the same reason that they was on Lost and didn't get on to the end of the show. Mark, hey Mark, that's why it was called Lost. That's no different than Val. Remember the show Bubble? They were in the bubble.
I think so. I think so.
I'm not. Remember they came out of space and this big old bubble was around America, and you could run so far around, but you couldn't get out the bubble, and there was a secret passageway through the underworld. Oh my God, I love that show, and then they just killed it.
Yeah, and then Mark's like, it never made sense. Even aliens visited, and they never got off. It whatever keeps the drama there, that's kind of the fun thing. Let me get back to some of the movies that are coming out. Superman is due to come out in July. I believe that's the film that's coming out. They've remade it. It's been remade so much into TV shows, and I don't know. I think
who's playing the main role though?
The main role is being played by, and I'll be able to tell you that in 39 seconds as I bring it up. It's going to be David Corenswet. So he's playing Clark Kent, aka he's playing Superman. And so they have.
Wasn't this the one that Idris Elba was up for, and they decided to go around him? Ain't that the one?
No, this is not the one. And this one, Superman is due to come out July 11th, which is just after July 4th, that major weekend.
Just after my son's birthday.
So it's coming out in July. So, and then the other film that they're remaking, and it's coming out, and I'm like, okay, they have Karate Kid Legends.
Oh,
that's supposed to be hitting at the end of the month. Jackie Chan and Ralph Macchio unite for the newest Karate Kid film, set 3 years later after Cobra Kai, and focusing on a new kid, Lee, being played by Ben Wang. And so
which is going to be basically Bruce Lee's son growing up.
Pretty much. So that might be something I'm interested in. And like I said, Karate Kid, these are films that we remember from back when we were younger. And like I said, I can just be a fan, but I'm telling you, it is, oh my goodness. And one last film that I want to mention that's coming out, and we'll revisit this because there are a slew of films that are coming out for the summertime too. But I definitely wanted to make sure that I mentioned, I'm trying to figure out why they decided they're going to this was it. No, not that one. That was from a young, I'm looking at, I see something that says How to Train Your Dragon. Here's a film that's coming out called F1. This is Brad Pitt and Damon Idris.
You talking about the F1 motor car series?
What was that?
You talking about F1 like as in the race car series?
No, not F1 like the race car series. This is, if I'm looking at this correctly, this is, oh boy, this is AP. they want us to donate. Let me go ahead and share this. No, this is Brad Pitt's film. And it's coming out, Warner Brothers. They said that, F1 driver Sony Hayes, who was recruited to mentor a young and up and coming Damon Idris in this high octane film from Top Gun Maverick filmmaker Joseph Kosinski. And so this is the film that's coming out at the end of it's coming out June 27th. So
So basically it's gonna be like a Top Gun, Air Force type movie.
But they'll be driving. F1,
That's what I just said. That's what I just said.
Did say that. Oh,
I just said that because I know F1 series. And the comment I was gonna say, if you're not up on the F1 series, F1 is hot, Val. If you're not following race car driving F1, two young kids just one Saturday, Sunday, I watched them. That's why when we said F1, I knew F1 that's the race car series. And it's hot. It's sitting there watching that, but they get up to speeds like 200 miles an hour.
Wow, I didn't know that. Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
I'm talking about 200 miles an hour, like from Water Tower down to like Grant Park.
And we did have NASCAR kind of hanging out here. But so, like I said, I'm looking forward to the new Mission Impossible. This is supposed to be the final one now. I don't know if it's final, but they're saying it's going to be the final one. I'm interested in seeing F1, the one with Brad Pitt and Damon Idris. This would be fun to see this. And then also Superman is out there. I need to see some more previews. I don't really know the actors that's in it, but here's the thing, Tony. A lot of the remakes that are happening, are we the audience, or is it our children or children's children? So we may not be the audience.
I'm gonna tell you this.
Mm-hmm.
Out of all the movies Val said, one, the top two within Mission Impossible and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
you got to go to the hood theater to see those. So that it is.
I'm not going to the hood.
phenomenal.
I'm not going to the hood.
You got to make you some chicken wings or some chicken strips. Carry a little tequila, some bourbon in, or some vodka, whatever, and watch the movie in 3D and be full and have a good time. Make sure that you sit in the hood section because they're going to tell you all the movie parts before they occur. If you don't
want that.
and I want somebody who in June, July to do that. And I want you to come back on our show and report to me and tell me, Coach Tony, I did what you said. And man, here's what my experience was. Because I want to hear the experience because I really want to know. We're gonna carry this more often. We want the hood. I want to know that.
And Mark wanted to know when your son's birthday is.
July 9th, Mark.
Okay.
My son's birthday, July 9th. My daughter, July 16th. I'm the end of the month, July 30th. So July is rocking and rolling for the fam.
There you go. There you go. Oh my gosh. We're wrapping
Tell
up.
them, Bell,
We're
how
wrapping
DJ
up
say
the show.
your life.
And the fun thing is that the actual physical book is coming. I am so excited. Wait, I got to do this real quick.
Drum roll.
I got merch, man. It's
man,
it's
hold on. Bag up. Hey, and where's Otis? Stop the presses. Hey, is that like a one of those like satchels that you can put some books in or carry to the beach and do some things like that?
Yes.
I like that.
If you see the actual printed version of A DJ Saved My Life is coming.
Okay.
And this is like a notebook version of it, but I am excited. And so I'm telling people, hey, we have merch. So this is our the DJ Saved My Life tote bag. And of course, you can get your book and you can put it inside and be like, yeah, there you go.
What? Hey, I like Lil Jon said, okay. Hey, I like that. Again, for those that are looking, you get your DJ Save My Life bag, you get your book, you get your little condiments and your little drink. You head down to the beach and you take the bag with you, get your umbrella, kick it out, get your little table in between, because you out there in the daylight. You put your bag down like Val just did. You take your book out and read how a DJ saved a life. That's what's up.
Exactly. So I'm getting the books printed out, and it going on, I want to call it a book tour, is something I'm looking forward to actually sign the book in person and greet you guys for number one, supporting the podcast as well as the book. So
I gotta be on that side. I gotta be there with you. So they be like, they go Coach back, they go Tony Thompson, pull up in the book. Let's get it.
You can go to purelighthouse.media.com /shop. That is our merch, where you can get the bag, the coffee mug, all of those things for DJ Saved My Life. But the ebook is available, but now we're ready to roll out the printed version of it. And of course, let me make sure I go back to this. This is patreon.com /interludes. It's our back, I like to call it, things that happen behind the scenes. And of course, I'm going to probably do a behind the scenes of this show as well. But you go to patreon.com /interludes. And of course, I'm gathering information from Coach, writing articles. And also I have the purple robe, the purple robe diaries. I started doing that, and that's me filming myself in my purple robe when I talk. Now it's getting warmer, so I'm going to get me a robe.
We got to come to red robe. We got to come to red diaries. I keep it red. I don't like that purple. I love that. I got personals. We got the red diaries. Is coming soon to the pull up. Hey, that's wonderful, Val. I like that.
I know. You can join patreon.com /interludes for free. But if you decide, hey, I want to get paid content, then you'll be able to see content of me doing comedy, and then also giving you tips on how to do things with and starting your own podcast. So that's at patreon.com /interludes. And I wanted to just kind of highlight some of the things that I have over there for all members, which is really, really cool. Oh my goodness. And then next week is the Pull Up Podcast Show. We always have great guests that come on with Coach Tony. We had a wonderful guest on yesterday, Alexis Griggs. Good to chat with her. Coach, wasn't that a great guest to have yesterday?
Man, let me tell you something. I talked to her today, and she's still just elated over the show. And it's just awesome. I mean, to have a young lady like that, when I originally asked her to come on the show, Val, we were just trying to figure out topics of conversation. And I said, let's just keep it real. And to get her on and by the way, the people that watched the show last night, she was in her real element. I mean, to give the knowledge, talk to the kids straight up about, hey, here's where I've been. I've been in those shoes. I ran that sideline. I ran those drills. I got talked to. I got this. I got that. And now look at me. And she's still in the game, Val, giving back, teaching and coaching. That's what it's all about. I just absolutely loved it.
Yeah, and it was a really good show on yesterday. And if you guys are looking for that particular show, that's on our YouTube channel. That's the reason why we're always asking you guys, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. And of course, with this particular video, hit the like button and make sure that you share the love. And so you get a chance to see that wonderful, wonderful interview with our girl, Alexis Griggs. And of course,
next week is hot.
Definitely next week is hot. And of course, we want to encourage you guys, make sure that you support Coach Tony on his brand new IG page. It is it's called the Pull Up Podcast Show, and it is Coach Tony. And you guys go ahead and scan the QR code so that you can go ahead and follow him and his activity on the Instagram, on the gram. That's what the kids call it. On the gram.
Put it on the gram. And like Vegas said, we're going to get on the gram, and not the tram, but the gram, and also you guys are looking. Mark, make sure you stay close to. I already talked to a couple of homeboys, Val and myself. We're going to work on our first annual golf outing with a mixture of interlude folks and the pull-up folks. We're going to bring both shows together to have a wonderful weekend, whether we do a weekend outing or weekend outing or 1 day outing. We'll let you know, but stay tuned because that's coming soon.
All right. All right. Well, we'll be back on next week. The Pull Up Podcast Show comes back on next week. And then, of course, I'm working on getting some more guests, some more filmmakers here with Interludes Extra Presents Talk on Tuesdays. But we are getting ready to wrap it up for tonight. Oh, my gosh.
Hey, man,
so excited.
We about to act like a pregnant woman at the hospital delivering a baby. And we're going to head up out of here.
Don't know if I want the visual of a pregnant lady. We're going to just say peace.
Peace.